Today I'm sharing with you the 5 measurements that we use in our business to check the health of the location and whether or not we're doing good or not. Because if there's one thing I know, 60% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. And my goal today is to help you not become a statistic in the failure of businesses realm. And so if you're like me, when I was first getting started, I didn't know what to track. I didn't know what to look at. I was just going along with what I knew. I'd watch some YouTube videos and I'd hire some people and I just got things started. I went out and started mowing lawns in literally a Grand Prix, like putting the mower in the back seat of my vehicle. And so I didn't know what I didn't know. And I went through for the first 5 years of our business, a lot of growing pains that hopefully I'm going to help you get there much, much faster in this video. So make sure you watch all the way to the end because I'm going to share with you the 5 metrics that I track every week in both of our lawn care companies, and I'm going to show you how to navigate if that measurement is not doing well and how to fix it. And I'm going to write all of these down. We're just going to go through them real quick. Talking about capacity, close ratio, efficiency score. I'm going to put quality here, and then really sales. Right? These are the 5 metrics. When I sit down and look at our business each week, these are the 5 things that I look at. Number 1 is the capacity. And there's a lot that goes into this. The 3 big categories here is number 1, personal capacity. So there comes a time that you personally can only handle so much, whether that be you yourself out in the field, you can only mow so many lawns, or you can only spray so many, weeds and things like that, or do landscaping services. Personal capacity, knowing your personal capacity, what can you do in a 5-day, 6-day work week to where you hit your breaking point? Like, you do not want to exceed that personal capacity. So we want to make sure and identify that. Like, is it sustainable? It's like, great, you can go out and mow 15, 20 lawns in a day. Like, that's great, but could you do that 5 days a week all year? I can't. You got to identify your personal capacity. That's really important. The second thing is going to be equipment capacity. How many trucks? Like, if you only have 1 truck, if it's you, can you hire a part-time helper? Can you hire a full-time helper? That's going to fluctuate what equipment capacity you have. Because if you have 2 full-time team members and each team member can do 10 lawns, then ideally you should be able to do 18 to 20 lawns each day. That would be your equipment capacity for the day. Same thing goes for the mowers, trailers, whatever type of equipment, identifying where that capacity is. And then the last thing is going to be, I would say, really schedule capacity. So this is like, how many jobs do we actually have on the schedule each week on all of these, guys? And all of these, we want to get close or above 80%. If we can get above 80% of our personal capacity, our equipment capacity, and our schedule capacity, that is where we find to be the most profits that you will gain in your business. All right, second thing is going to be the close ratio. There is a deciding factor here. You have to ask yourself, are you trying to grow, or are you trying to take? What do I mean by that? Are you trying to grow top line, or are you trying to take home profit? All right, it matters. So you have growth mode, that's you growing, and then you have profit mode. Based on what area of the business you are in, it will dictate what you should have as a close ratio, as at least a bare minimum. In our business, because we do things a little bit different, where we do require weed control, we don't offer just mowing services, we're willing to take a little bit of a lower close ratio. Why? It's a trade-off. We know that each customer we gain, the value, the lifetime value of that customer will be much greater than just opening our doors and letting just all regular mowing customers come in. So in our business, what we look at is, if it is in growth mode, we need above a 40% 40% close ratio. 40%, that is the absolute bare minimum. Ideally, I would like to see this at like 50, 60%, but that is the bare minimum. If we start getting below that 40%, ding, 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 red alert coming on. There's a problem. Second thing, for profit, we want it to be above at least 30%. In profit mode, we're typically raising our prices. We're charging a little bit more. So we're okay with doing a 30% close ratio. If it falls below 30%, the red alerts are going off. There's something that we have to get fixed here. Okay, efficiency score. So efficiency score is pretty much baseline across the board. So we must see a 70% or above. Once you start getting below 65%, 60%, that's where it becomes a problem. All of our locations, we have really tight route density within 15-minute drive. 70% is really what we're shooting for. And so we track this every single week. We literally sit down and we're like, okay, what is our efficiency score for my personal self as well as the team? And we go through that. Now, quality. How many complaints are we getting? Some people call this yellow slips. YS. How many are we getting? To be honest, for us, what we do is, if you assume one guy can do 10 lawns a day, that's 50 lawns a week, 5-0. If they get one complaint out of 50 visits, I'd say that's okay. That's okay. Out of 49 were good. There was one that maybe there was a mistake. There were clippings left on the driveway or something like that. Something simple, that's okay. Now, if you start getting a lot of complaints and quality issues, what happens here, the reason why this is important is because all of those customers that you paid for in the springtime to become your customer at your business, if you don't provide an exceptional quality of service, they're going to just go out the back door. And you're going to be wasting money. You're going to be burning money. We did this for so long. There was a time where we would let people get slips like every day. Every day. Out of 10 lawns, there was a complaint. For one person, it was crazy. There would be 15, 20 complaints in a week. And we would spend so much money in the springtime for marketing. But then what happens is during the summertime, we would do poor work and they would literally just cancel and leave. And it was this cycle that we kept going through. So quality matters. Sales, right? This is the last category that we track every week. Upsells. We need to constantly be selling. There is 2 needles that move your business forward. And I didn't realize this for like the first 3 years of my business because I got distracted on every other thing. What mower should I buy and what truck should I buy? All of that stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's only two things that actually move your business forward. Number 1 is hiring people to do the work. And number 2 is selling more jobs. So why are we not every week focusing on selling more jobs? We must upsells. Every single month, we need to be strategically thinking, what is the pain point of the customer and what can we upsell? In the fall time, it might be leaf clamps. In the winter, it might be snow removal. In the springtime, like early spring before the grass starts growing, where everything's dormant and you can see all of the weeds, it's probably weed control, okay? Once the grass starts growing, it's probably mowing. You gotta understand that we need to constantly be in sales mode constantly. And guys, really, I would just say become a brand ambassador for your business. Get into all the Facebook groups, hand out flyers constantly, have business cards in your wallet. Your vehicle should be wrapped and vinyl stickered so that way people can see you out there on the route. Sales is the only thing, it's one of the 2 things that actually move the business forward. All right, now we're gonna jump into this. I'm gonna give you a real life example of our sit down weekly meeting and the numbers and how to fix it here. All right, so behind me I have actual numbers from a weekly sit down of tracking our measurements and KPIs. Okay, so first thing that we look at is the budget hours completed. So what we like to do for any manager is 5 budgeted hours per day. And so ideally, 25 budget hours should be completed each week. That allows us, and whether that be you out in the field tracking yourself, you need to set your capacity. figure out how many jobs, and then maybe you don't go off of budget hours. Maybe you do lawns. Like I need to do 10 lawns a day. Okay, then that's 50 lawns. How many lawns did you do this week? You need to be tracking that each week to see if you are getting close to that 80% capacity. What you also want to look at, if you have a team, is what is the capacity of your workforce? So how many team members do you have? What is their capacity? And where are you guys at? Because if you're like only at 50 or 60% capacity, okay, we need to sell more jobs. We need to get these guys hours so that way you can become more profitable in your business. Number 2 is the close ratio. So we had a 27%. Okay, not good. This is a growth mode location, which basically means the prices are lower. They're decreased from what it normally is. So the fact that it's a 27% is a ding, 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 red flag. We need to fix this. I'm kind of jumping around here, but how do we fix that? So the way that we fix close ratio is doing more follow-up phone calls. So when you go out and you do an estimate in person, we gotta pick the phone up and call them same day. If we don't call them same day, the likelihood of them booking or ghosting us gets worse, all right? It just gets worse. So if we can ideally, customer calls, literally either same day or next day, get the estimate to them. If we could decrease that time, it will increase our close ratio. The 2 big levers here is number 1, follow-up phone calls, same day you send the estimate. Number 2, when a customer asks for an estimate, we get it to them either same day or next day. Decrease that time as quickly as possible. Efficiency score. So 71%, that's average. Especially, at our location, the way to increase close ratio is obviously just being efficient on the jobs, having really good route density, not taking a lot of breaks, or having downtime in between properties. Yeah, just really getting after it, moving with a purpose. So efficiency score is very important because at the end of the day, guys, we sell labor. If this score gets below 70%, it becomes a problem. Why? I've seen efficiency scores as low as 50%, which basically means 50% of their day was spent doing something other than actually making money. You and I will not be able to make money if we have a 50% efficiency score. This is something that must be tracked every single week. Quality, number of yellow slips. In this snapshot view, we had 0 yellow slips. Fantastic. That's what I like to see. I love it. If you can get this down to 0 or 1, if any, you are doing extremely well. Try to keep these as low as possible because that will increase the lifetime value of your customer. You sell them one time for mowing services, and if they stick around with you for 3 or 4 years, that's a pretty good deal. The last thing you want to do is pay all this money, $150, $200 to acquire this customer, and then you mow them 2 or 3 times and do bad work and then they cancel on you. Like that's the worst. You're gonna lose so much money doing that. And then really just upsells. So we track this again every week. Hey, what was the last upsell? Did we do an email? Did we do a text? What are we gonna sell this month? Like let's focus on this. What jobs do we need? Sometimes, in the fall, it's aeration services for us. During the spring when things are growing, it's mowing services. Like what is the pain point? Let's focus on that. But guys, this is really the 5 measurements, and we use this every single week. Every single week takes us about 10 minutes to sit down. We do this at 2 locations, and we literally get, okay, where's our capacity at? What's our close ratio? What's our efficiency score? What's our yellow slips? What's our upsells? I will tell you, if yellow slips are high, you need to probably do some retraining, whether it be you or your team. We have to make sure everybody's on the same page and that is trained well and not getting complaints, because the last thing, like I said, you want to do is spend all this money in marketing for the customer to just go right out the back door. Guys, if you found value in this video, number 1, you need to subscribe. Number 2, hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next video.